Avatar Sentai Donbrothers vs. Zenkaiger premiered a few days ago here in Japan, and I did go watch it at the theater, and it was okay. I do want to show some things off that I got. I got this free calendar. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Oh my goodness. Oh, look at that. So it folds out. And it's a calendar for this year. Oh man, this is sick. Yeah, starting from April till next year March. Oh, that's perfect. So, yeah, on the top it has Donbrothers and Zenkaiger. Very, very cool. It has the movie forms for both Don Momotaro and Zenkaiger. Very awesome. And then on the bottom here, there's King Oger with Legend King Oger over there. So, oh man, I love this. I love this thing. And then there were also some flyers for the King Oger and Geats summer movies. So, definitely gonna have to watch these. So, I will do reviews, a review probably of those movies. On the back, some coloring pages. And then, last but certainly not least, I did get the movie pamphlet, so we're going to be using this to guide us in our review today. I love this. I love this thing so much. Look at that. I love that picture. Love this art here. But yeah, let's get into the movie review. Actually, before we get into the movie review, please keep in mind a couple of things. One, my Japanese is not good, so I definitely did not understand everything. And I might have misheard some stuff, and I might have even just forgotten some stuff. That's not really a Japanese problem. That's just more of a, oh yeah, that happened. So if I forget anything and I remember it later, I will pin it in the comments below. Also, I haven't finished Donbrothers. I know, fake fan. But yeah, just keep that in mind as well. Also, the opinions of this movie are mine and mine alone. So don't base your opinions off of this review. Go watch the movie if you can. Also, don't ask me where to watch this movie. I think it's floating around somewhere. I don't know where. Don't ask me. I'm not the person to go for that stuff. You'll have to do your own research. But yeah, please don't base your opinions of this movie, especially a movie that you haven't seen, solely on my review or on my opinions. And last but certainly not least, of course, there are going to be spoilers. I'm going to spoil the entire movie for you. So if you don't want to be spoiled, don't watch this review. Maybe go watch the movie first and then come back and watch this review. So before the movie even premiered, Toei did say that this movie was going to be kind of split into two parts, kind of. So there was going to be a like almost Zenkaiger episode and a Donbrothers episode into one movie. And it was pretty much just that. I thought it'd be more along the lines of the Battle Royale movie, the Kamen Rider Geats and Revice team up. You know, to a certain extent it was. However, you know, because of the time constraints, they didn't do some of the things that the Kamen Rider movie was able to do. So, for example, in the Kamen Rider team up movie, we had the Revice episode part of the movie, and that was like a full-on episode. That was like a 22-minute part of the movie that was basically a Revice episode, kind of a continuation of, you know, the Revice story. And then after that, it went into like the Geats portion of the story, and then that kind of led into the team up. And there was still plenty of interactions between, you know, the cast of Revice and Geats, you know, coming together and stuff. There's still plenty of interactions between them. But again, you know, I understand like there's a time constraints with Sentai. Although, honestly, Sentai team-ups should be longer. That's a problem, too. They're only an hour long. The Kamen Rider ones are usually like, I think, 90 minutes long. Yeah, we really need more time for that. But, you know, you could only use so much, you know, in a Sentai team-up movie. However, with that being said, the formatting of this movie, this Sentai team-up movie in particular, worked and didn't work. And first, let's talk about the things that worked. And to talk about those things that worked, we're going to have to talk about, each of the two parts more in detail. Again, spoilers. We're going to get into it right now. So, the movie starts off with the Zenkaiger episode portion of this movie. And yeah, like I said, it's basically just a continuation of the Zenkaiger story. Sechan, is that the bird's name? The bird's name from Zenkaiger. She basically talks about what the Zenkaigers have been up to since the finale. So she mentions the finale, how they had to do rock, paper, scissors against God. And then she also references the Kita Major team up. So you get some brief shots of the Kita Major team up, so that was pretty cool. And basically the Zenkaigers have been, visiting all these Sentai worlds and whatnot, buying souvenirs and everything. They come back to the Zenkaiger's world, and what's it called? I have my notes here. Kashiwamochi world has taken over, and the Zenkaigers have no idea what's going on and everything. It's a wacky plot, it's your typical wacky plot for Zenkaiger. So if you're a fan of Zenkaiger, you are going to absolutely love this first part of the movie. Zox is like the king of this world, and he's making people make kashiwamochi for him, and they're not allowed to eat kashiwamochi unless he gives them permission to. It's so weird. Hakaiser is also there. He's kind of brainwashed by Kashiwamochi world. And Stay Caesar's there. Stay Caesar's, fighting him. And that portion kind of ends with, all these people fighting against each other. You have, the Kikainoids fighting two Kaiser, I believe. And then you have Hakaiser versus Stay Caesar. And Zenkaiser versus, Kashiwamochi world. That's pretty much the gist of it. I mean, there's not a whole lot that happens, but it's still just a wacky time. Again, if you're a fan of Zenkaiger, you'll love that part. Now, we're going to go into the Donbrothers one, because a little more happens in the Donbrothers portion of this. Again, it is a continuation from the Donbrothers story. Taro has left the team, and he's still a delivery man. He's still doing his delivery stuff. Jiro is now the leader of the team, and he's, he has his new personality or whatever. Again, I'm almost done with Donbrothers, but I'm not quite there yet. So bear with me if there's some things that I'm missing or whatever. Sononi and Sonoza have also joined the Donbrothers, kind of. And then at one point of the movie, they all kind of leave Donbrothers for some reason. I wasn't too sure about that part. Maybe because they had enough points, they were able to leave or something. I'm not too sure. However, Master Kaito, so Zenkaiger Black Kaito, I'm just going to call him Master Kaito. He is able to get in contact with Taro, and Taro, from his conversation with Kaito, Taro decides to go visit each of the Donbrothers, kind of see what they're doing and how they're doing, and kind of taking care of them in a sense. And he also meets up with Sonoi, and Sonoi tells Taro that him and Jiro have been fighting, I guess. I guess since Taro isn't part of the Donbrothers, I guess he's been fighting Jiro. I'm not too sure. The one dude who's been trying to be a ninja this whole entire time, who's been, what are they called? Hitotsuki, several times. He's back as a Hitotsuki, but this time as the Zenkaiger Hitotsuki. He has a bunch of gears and stuff. Actually, I should probably use this. I haven't been using this, even though I said I would. Where is it? Okay, here you go. Bam, right there. This one. He's that one. He's that one right there. And here's Kashiwamochi world. And for the 75th time in the entirety of Donbrothers, Taro dies. He's like the Kamen Rider ghost of Sentai. So he's killed by the Zenkaiger Hitotsuki. And there's a whole funeral for him. They're actually at a church or a chapel or whatever. And they have a full-on funeral for him. He's Taro's body's laying in a casket and everything. All of them are dressed in black. All the Donbrothers are dressed in black. And it's at this point where the Donbrothers decide to become Donbrothers again. So So, so they become Donbrothers again. They have a hard time fighting the Zenkaiger, Hitotsuki, and so Noi actually goes to the church by himself, and he sees Tado, dead and whatever, and he revives Tado by throwing up on him. He straight up just throws up. He just straight up throws up into the casket, and I guess it's like his life force or whatever. Like it's from that couple of episodes, I should say. I recently watched it. It was like when that whole thing where Sonoi was acting like Tado or whatever. You know that whole thing. You know what I'm talking about if you watch Donbrothers. But yeah, he revives Tado. So Tado joins his team again, and after Tado is kind of back on the Donbrothers, everyone decides that Jiro isn't the leader anymore. Jiro's like, what? Like, bruh, I'm the leader. And they're like, nah, we good. Taro's back. And then they end up on the quarry. The good old quarry that everyone likes to fight in. And those are pretty much the 2 episode parts of this movie. These 2 episode parts of the movie were very good on their own. I was kind of wondering, going into this movie, I was wondering how they were going to kind of implement this kind of way of breaking up the movie, especially because both shows are very different. You got the both shows are pretty wacky in their own right, but Zenkaiger has a very typical wackiness where it's like the plot's very basic. It's it's outlined very structured like a Sentai is usually, but it still has a wacky plot. While with Donbrothers, it's very wacky in plot, but it's not your typical like Sentai layout. It's very like artsy and there's a lot of symbolism and all that. So they're very different, but having them back to back wasn't jarring. It worked, and at the same time they were still able to be their own thing, which I liked. With that being said, the team up part of this movie felt honestly kind of lacking. Up to this point of the movie, no one from either of the teams has met someone else from the other team. So the final battle, quite literally, the final battle is where they all meet. I know, Don Momotaro did meet the Zenkaigers before, yada yada yada, and they kind of like mentioned that. Zenkaiger Kaito actually kind of mentions that. He's like the ha ha ha, he does the ha 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 thing, which is pretty funny. But yeah, as far as this actual movie goes, this is the first time and last time that they meet each other. I don't know. When I go into these versus films, I like seeing interactions between the teams. That's kind of the point, really, of team up movies. I mean, I would imagine. I mean, I know the point. Okay, the point is to like sell toys, whatever. Yeah, I get it. But like, still, it's like you would hope to have some interactions between, the members of each team. I want more interactions. Not that we didn't get any interactions between them. Like, we did get interactions between, like, for example, Kiji brother and Majin. Like, during the fight, they had an interesting interaction. It was a really funny interaction. Gaon and Oni sister, they interacted. Like, they interacted with each other. Kaiser and Jiro, they did too. Nothing out of suit. They didn't really interact they didn't interact at all, actually, out of suit. Which would have been nice to see. They were all out of suit when the monsters kind of blasted them and knocked them out of morph. But again, they didn't interact with each other at all. Because that's when, something happens with Master Kaito, and I'll get to that in a second. The roll call was very rushed. It was like they did their, their silly thing where all of them kind of show up on the screen and say their own, do their own roll call. So during the fight, Master Kaito gives Don Momotaro the Victory Super Gear, which I did pre-order. He uses it in his Don Blaster, and that gives him and Zenkaiger Kaito a Don Zenkai blade each. And then they both use that in order to transform into their movie power-up forms, which look really cool, actually. I actually really like these forms, even though how ridiculous Zenkaiger looks with a peach on his forehead. I still really like the forms. And then here we have Donbrothers with the Zenkaiger armor. I don't know. I like them. I like them a lot. They basically just switch armor pieces, but it works. It works. And I really like the blade. I also pre-ordered that. I mean, that comes with the gear, so I love that sword though. That sword looks really, really cool. I mean, I like the design on that with the, with all the gears, the Kikainoid gears on that. Them using the sword to henshin kind of reminds me of King Oger, huh? That King Oger nod, huh? No, I'm just kidding. Let's see. Another thing to mention, there was no mecha battle. I mean, I wasn't really expecting a mecha battle, but, sometimes they have it, sometimes they don't. Maybe that's, kind of noteworthy to mention. So here's all of them, henshining. I didn't really need Kaiser there, to be honest. I don't know why he's there. I mean, I get why he's there, but at the same time, I didn't really need him. It's fine that he was in the Zenkaiger part of this movie, but I don't think he really necessarily needed to be part of the final battle. So if it was up to me, I would have cut Kaiser out of the final battle, and I would have put Don Murasame with the Donbrothers. And that would have evened it out. That would have been that would have been perfect. That would have been so perfect. Why didn't they do that? Stay Caesar team up with Don Murasame. That would have been so cool. I would have loved to see Don Murasame and Stay Caesar team up. But no, they didn't do that. Don Murasame was just stuck in the cafe working. I don't know. That was a missed opportunity, I think. The Noto weren't in the final battle, although Sonoi did show up very briefly to fight Jiro. But then that was it. It was just that one quick shot of them fighting. Not even fighting, just like Sonoi kind of attacking Jiro. And then that was it. Now I know y'all are thinking about Master Kaito. So we're going to get into Master Kaito. But in order to talk about Master Kaito, we got to go back to the beginning of the movie. Because they did kind of hint at something. There was a hint at something there. So, the Zenkaigers have just returned from, all the different Sentai worlds. They come back to the Zenkaiger world. They don't know what's happening. They're very confused because Kaito's mom and grandma, they're making kashiwa mochi for whatever reason. Majin eats a kashiwa mochi, not realizing that, oh, hey, you're not allowed to do that. So the police show up to the cafe, and here's the, I don't know, if you're curious, there's the police. Some of them are Kikainoids. They show up and try to arrest Majin, and everyone kind of just it's all crazy and whatever, and everyone runs outside. Kaito kind of falls behind, and he looks back at the cafe, and he has kind of like a vision, and the cafe kind of just turns into the Cafe Donbura, and he sees the Donbrothers out of suit, sitting at their table with Master Kaito there. He sees all that, and he's like, what was that? They hinted at something. There was a hint there. There's a connection there. Fast forward to right before the final battle, after they've been knocked out of Morph. Master Kaito actually saves the teams by, using his gear chilling. He blasts them. He doesn't morph at all in this film. I should say that. He does not henshin at all. You do not see the Zenkaiger black suit in this movie. I feel like that's another missed opportunity, because that would have been really cool to see Zenkaiger and Zenkaiger Black fight together. But whatever. So everyone looks and is like, hey, wait a minute. You're Kaito and you're Kaito. What's up with that? There's a shot where both Zenkaiger Kaito and Zenkaiger Black Kaito are there together, and it's really bad green screen. And even Kaito asks his dad, he's like, hey, what's up with this? Are there two of me? And he's like, no, there should be only one. That was pretty funny. And Master Kaito reveals who he really is. A true hero. I hate Donbrothers. Alright, listen. I get it. It's supposed to be a joke. It's a joke that there's two Kaitos there. Like, it's been a running joke in the entirety of Donbrothers. Like, oh, who is this guy? But jokes are meant to be funny. I'm not laughing. You know, all the people who are saying, oh yeah, it's supposed to be a joke. That's the joke. It's supposed to be a joke. They're not even laughing. Like, what? Going into this movie, I was not expecting a big revelation. I wasn't expecting some huge secret, some big explanation as to why there's another Kaito. But I would have liked a little something, a little bit, just a little thing would have been nice. A little thing would have been nice. Okay. And this is gonna go off on a tangent for a little bit. Zenkaiger and Donbrothers clearly have some sort of connection, especially toy-wise. They both have gun changers. They both use gears. The gears can be used in either of the changers. Don Momotaro literally has a bike that can combine with Judan. Like, and Judan's there. He's in the team-up movie. What? But show-wise, other than the fact that they have their own version of Zenkaiger, no connection. And I get it, Donbrothers is not the type of show to have everything spelled out for you. I get that. I understand that. It's a very artsy show. It has a lot of symbolism, a lot of imagery, a lot of like really like little things that you have to pay attention to in order to like, you know, kind of get, it's all up to interpretation and everything. I totally get that. I understand. It's very like dramatic, drama-esque, you know, compared to like other Sentai. But there are things that are introduced that say that these two shows are connected somehow. And none of it's addressed. Not even a little tiny explanation. No, nothing. Nothing. We don't get anything. And honestly, I'm probably going to do a whole review of Donbrothers as a show when I finish Donbrothers, because I got a lot to say. I'm not done with Donbrothers, but I got a lot to say about it. I'm not saying it's a bad show at all. It's very interesting. It's a very interesting show. It does a lot of different things, you know, that Sentai doesn't usually do. The writing style is just crazy, but that doesn't mean it doesn't have problems. Same with this team-up movie. I feel like it could have answered a lot of questions, and I get it. It doesn't have to. This movie did not have to do that, but it would have been nice. But at the very, very, very least, we needed more interactions between the two teams. Like, it's a versus movie. It's supposed to be a team-up movie, especially these two teams. Especially in this team-up. We needed more interactions, especially two teams that have some sort of connection with each other. We needed some more interactions between these two teams. Like of all the team ups they decided to do this formatting for, it was these two teams. Like, they couldn't have done it for any other team or any other teams. They couldn't have waited till next year. No, they did it for this team up. And again, the two parts at the beginning, the Zenkaiger part and the Donbrothers part, were very, very good on their own. They continued the storylines of each of those shows, and they're very, very good. But I needed, for me personally, I needed more interactions between the two teams. I wanted this to feel more like a team-up movie and not just a continuation of the two shows, you know, on their own. Again, that's fine. I want that. That's great. That's fantastic that they're continuing the storylines, the plot lines of each of the shows. But again, this is a team-up movie, and I need more of that. So of course, the evil people are destroyed. Well, not the ninja dude. He's not destroyed. He's fine. But the Zenkaiger, we kind of end off the Zenkaigers with them at the candy cafe, and everyone's having a good time. They're all eating and whatever. Kaito does not question why there's another one of him. He's just like, whatever, I'm having a good time here. And then with the Don brothers, we kind of just follow up on all the characters. Inu brother and Sononi. They're, I guess they're together. I guess they're a couple now. And, yeah, I'm just gonna say it. Sonoi dies. Or, okay. I'm not gonna 100% confirm that he's dead, though. It's very, very up to interpretation. So I'm gonna play it out for y'all. Sonoza visits Sonoi at the Oden cart that Sonoi's working at, and it kind of looks like that Sonoi is sleeping. He's still upright and he's sleeping, and then Sonoza tries to kind of wake him up, and Sonoi's chopsticks in his hands, he was holding chopsticks, and they kind of just fall, and then Sonoza's like, "Hey, what, Sonoi, and then like the train kind of just moves by, like it's again very artsy. The train kind of runs by, and you see Sonoza like yelling at Sonoi like, "Wake up!" You don't hear it; you just hear the train going by. It was a really, really well done scene, and that was it. That's it. And then the last scene is Taro training his fellow Don brothers. He's like basically kind of like going back to the beginning of the series. It like really, this honestly really served as a good finale for Don brothers, because you got Taro like just shooting at his fellow companions, training them again, kind of like, you know, how he did before, and that was a really good ending. That's basically how it ended. But yeah, going back to this whole Sonoi thing, yeah, it's very open to interpretation. He could have just fainted, you know? He could have fallen asleep, honestly. But yeah, I think it's meant to be open to interpretation. I don't think it's supposed to be like 100% for sure that he died. I mean, you know, like he could come back in a future movie or whatever. Maybe a future like versus movie, even a V cinema if they really wanted to do that. I think Sonoi really just can't bear the thought of Taro dying. You know, he kind of just sacrificed himself, so to speak, in order to revive Taro. Like, I think for him, living in a world without Taro is worse than anything. Like their relationship kind of goes beyond friendship, even a relationship. Like, I think like they're like literally, quite literally soulmates. Like their souls are connected in a way. Yeah, they have a very unique relationship. I don't know, y'all gonna have to watch the movie and interpret it yourselves, because I don't think it's 100% that he died. I really don't think that that's necessarily what happened. I mean, he might have died. I don't know. It's again, it's up to interpretation. It's how you interpret it, because that's just how Don Brothers rolls. Everything is up to interpretation. Overall, this team up was not the best in recent years, in my opinion. It lacked a lot of things that I feel like they could have done. Yeah, let me know what you think of my review. I'm sure there's gonna be some of you that disagree, or even after seeing the movie, which is fine. You know, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. If it sounded like I was talking crap about Don Brothers, I'm really not. Like, I really like Don Brothers as a show. However, I also think that, you know, it's also open for criticism, as every other show. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna end it off with some very beautiful pictures of Zenkaiger and Don Momotaro. There you go. Bam. Look at that. Thank you everyone so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't. Follow us on our social media down below. We have a Discord, so make sure to flex your toys, collectibles, all that good stuff. And let's talk about this movie. And we will see you all next time.